it because they've been doing the right things for a while. That was Evan Rodrigues' best performance, and we'll talk about the 4 points. I just liked all the other stuff that he did away from the pucks. He was physical, he was on pucks, he defended real hard and got a good payoff. So those guys, we made a little switch in the matchup fairly early in the first period, and after that they were off to the races.
And how important was it to answer after it became 3-3
yeah,
so quickly?
What's important is when you get up like a team as deep, they're built a lot like us. They're very deep, very veteran team. That we wanted to have a playoff mindset. So what we wanted to do tonight is when you can expect that the other team is going to have something go for them because they're a good team. So you're not dominating these teams. And when it does, that your game wouldn't change. So that event happened a couple of times because we were feeling good after the first goal and then they tied it, but I liked our game after that. A couple of strange ones there to tie it 3-3, but there really wasn't the sag or the panic on the bench or just go and play the next shift, and we scored fairly soon after that. And then we got a real strange one to make it 5-4, to make it tense. But I like that we handled, I don't know if it's adversity. It's a good team. You're not keeping them off the board most nights. And I liked the way the bench felt in the kind of momentum swings that we saw.
Like you said, there's no sag and no panic, and there didn't seem to be.
No, it was a good game. Like, I think you get grumpy, and the players do as well when you're not playing well. But when you play a team like Dallas, you're also not going to own the game, right? They're going to have shifts in your end, and you can't be losing your composure or try to change the game or break the game open. You just understand they're a good team. We're a good team. We're going to swing at each other here a little tonight.
But why is your club wired that way? Because tonight's not the first night where that's
No, you learn it. It's something that you learn, and I don't know that any team ever captures it or owns that idea. Like, you got to kind of invest in it all the time. You got to kind of live through it all the time. It's actually in some ways easier to do in these games because the other team is a good team, and they score. It's not the end of the world. Figured they might get 1 or 2 tonight, and they're thinking the same thing. It's when you're playing a team and you're all over them, and we've had that a little bit. And then boom, one's in the net. Our goaltending's been good, so being able to do it against the top 10 teams in the league, if they get their teeth in you a little bit, you're not going to own the entire game. I think back, do you look at that Carolina series where we were in it? There was a 10-minute block in each of the first 4 games, or certainly in the first 3 where they owned the game. And 2 of those was in the first 10 minutes, and they were all over us. And then one we had to come back to. We were down 2-0 in Toronto. So I think we have a piece of it. I think we understand it.
Pete just said they expected to get your best. Do you feel like, maybe aside for the first 6 minutes, that you gave it to them?
Yeah, I think so. We the first 4 pucks that we put in there, and then their goaltender touched, and they're very good at breaking pucks out off their goaltender. So if their goaltender's touching the puck, we don't like the way we put the puck in. We can't set our forecheck, which means they're coming with 4. So even if they don't get a scoring chance, they're on us. So they owned that first part because of the way that we put the puck in, then it changed. Right after that, we were pretty good.
And with Evan, very aggressive. He doesn't look to pay. He looks off Barkov and shoots, and he dangles and shoots. I mean, big night for him.
The shooting, I think, is certain. It starts with Barkov, and it starts probably in Montreal, the mentality of let's get some pucks. I mean, that's a heck of a goalie to beat him with a clean shot. Those guys don't get beat that much, but the mentality is right. But here's where the growth was. Last game, he came down the right side of the ice and tried to put one back into the middle, and it ended up in our net. And he had the exact same event about 4 times tonight, and he made a real good play with all of them. Not some of it was just controlling it, getting it deep, no panic in his game. I thought he it was almost a veteran's game. He didn't like his game last game. It was a tough one for him, and he came out, wound him, stayed focused. Right, we had some time off, came back and played his best.
You sort of answered a little bit, but 2 months into the season, what have you learned about him that maybe you didn't know before you got here?
I still don't. It's not early. It's too early, and I don't want to know too much about it. Oh, the new guys. Like there's, you don't want to make a decision on the player right now. We've got all of these new guys. We think we got a pretty good idea of what they are right now. But the whole thing is we got to get them to another level, right? Improve their game to another level. I thought tonight was a different kind of point night than his first one, and different than his other games because he took a couple of heavy hits, and then he threw a couple of heavy hits. And I'm not trying to turn this guy into a killer. He's not physically built to do that. but everybody can play intensely, right? And I thought tonight he was very intense.
Nico Mikko, another 2 points, 10 on the season already.
Yeah.
Just to see that side of
Yeah.
situation go, what you've been getting.
With the side, like he could play the entire night and not get 20 games and not get a point and be fantastic for us, because I think when you look at Verhaeghe's goal, the third goal, he kills that play on the wall hard, and it's up the ice and it's in the net. Montour's up, it's a 4-man rush, so this is what he does for a living, and he's good at it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Did you need one more? Because you look